I think it's time that we have a very serious talk about our expectations for the future of Disney's Animal Kingdom. So join me for today's Thought Starter.
The most important part of our Florida project, in fact, the heart of everything we'll be doing in Disney World, will be our experimental prototype city of tomorrow. We call it Epcot, spelled E-P-C-O-T, Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow.
In 1966, Walt Disney announced his vision for what he called Epcot, an idea that eventually became something very different to what he had originally intended. Walt Disney wanted to build a city, not a theme park. And I think before we talk about Animal Kingdom, we should talk about a very similar situation happening at Epcot. With the construction of Epcot as a theme park, we see the first deviation from Walt's original idea. Instead of a prototype community driving the future of technology and innovation, we received a theme park that paid tribute to Walt's idea through what was known as Future World in the front half of the park. In the back half, we received, of course, World Showcase, a collection of global cultures on display. As time passed, Future World proved it was not actually quite future-proof. The technology shown off in Innovention, a convention floor-style attraction, quickly became outdated and struggled to keep up with the tech world. The other edutainment-focused rides and attractions throughout this front half of the park also began to be overlooked by guests, as some were long and just didn't interest many younger guests. As maintenance costs and lack of guest interest increased, the corporate sponsors of these attractions chose not to renew their contracts at Disney, and Disney was left with very expensive and dated attractions to maintain on their own. This began the seemingly never-ending changes to Epcot. Attractions like Horizons, Universe of Energy, Wonders of Life, and the World of Motion, essentially the entire front eastern side of the park, began major transformations. And to this day, the front area of Epcot is still being transformed. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, admittedly one of the best coasters in Orlando, being the most recent replacement for the Universe of Energy, and the addition of the soon-to-open Journey of Water, an exploration trail inspired by Moana. The changes at Epcot have caused a lot of criticism in the online community, especially among fans of the original Epcot Center. This criticism mostly revolves around the apparent abandoning of Epcot's original ideas and themes. Ideas that, in practice, proved to be difficult to not only sell to the majority of guests, but also ended up being difficult to keep up to date with the world's continuous technological advances. And trying to keep Epcot within that opening day box was just too restrictive on growth. So Imagineers began thinking outside of the box, creating attractions and updates that still loosely followed the idea of Epcot, while not exactly following its opening day themes. To me, whether or not an attraction fits within a park is more about the premise of the attraction itself, rather than the intellectual property that it's based off of. And let me be clear here that it doesn't mean that I'm okay with Disney or Universal or any other major theme park just dropping in any character or property with no consideration or care in regards to an underlying theme of that said theme park. An intellectual property must be adaptable to the theme park it's being placed in, and the park itself must be adaptable to properties that may not fit an exact mold. For example, on the surface, Guardians of the Galaxy and Moana do not fit the underlying theme of Epcot. However, Imagineers created storytelling that adapted these properties to fit within Epcot. Cosmic Rewind was designed as an extension of World Showcase. Instead of showcasing a country or culture here on Earth, it is an otherworldly pavilion teaching us about the planet and its inhabitants from another galaxy. And Journey of Water acts as an introduction to our water cycle. The very same water cycle that brings water to the land and the seas, the two other pavilions in what is now known as World Nature at Epcot. But even still, this perceived abandonment of what Epcot Center used to be has been a difficult pill to swallow for some. And now getting to the point of all this, that's why I think we need to talk about Disney's Animal Kingdom. With the current Epcot construction and reimagining nearly complete, it's time to come to terms with the changes and realizing that while it's not the Epcot of your childhood, it is the Epcot of today, and one that I believe is getting better than ever. But that's another thought for another day. So now it's time to focus on preparing ourselves for changes inevitably coming to Disney's Animal Kingdom. According to Joe Rohde, the lead visionary, and Imagineer behind Animal Kingdom, there are three themes behind the park: the intrinsic value of nature, psychological transformation through adventure, and a personal call to action. And the Walt Disney Company themselves believe that the park is to appreciate and understand the natural world through both real life and imagined representations of animals and locations, all while learning about conservation efforts. Ultimately, Animal Kingdom is centered around the greater theme of conservation. Since its opening day in 1998, Disney's Animal Kingdom has followed its theme mostly through its zoological aspects of the park, like Kilimanjaro safaris, Rafiki's Planet Watch, and the various trails and animal exhibits. These aspects of Animal Kingdom will stay true to the core concept of Animal Kingdom. However, there's been some recent concern regarding the possibility of Zootopia coming to Animal Kingdom and whether or not it fits. Shanghai Disneyland recently showed off more details about their upcoming Zootopia land, and while it looks very well done, the concern is that Disney will hit the copy and paste button and put the same attraction into Animal Kingdom. This raises red flags since Zootopia at face value doesn't really meet the themes of Animal Kingdom at all, besides, of course, it being animals. Joe Rohde has even spoken out about Zootopia in Animal Kingdom, stating that the animals in the movie act as proxies for humans and human issues, not animal issues, and that Animal Kingdom tries to follow what he calls a no pants rule. As fans, we want our fandoms to remain true to their core values and concepts that we've grown to love. This is why fans of the original Epcot are not pleased by the changes happening. It no longer feels like the same theme park that made them love Epcot. The same can be said for Animal Kingdom. What has made Animal Kingdom so unique and charming has been its attention to detail and staying true to the original values. Departing from these values is concerning, as it could further signal that Disney is okay with adding in any characters or properties that vaguely relate to animals in general, and not really add to the idea or values of conservation. When we look at Animal Kingdom and where these changes are likely going to happen, Dinoland USA is the target location. The juxtaposition of the literal parking lot carnival to the rest of the park is screaming for change. This parking lot area, known as Dinorama, appears to be getting some consideration for a Moana-themed land, which does cause some concern seeing that Moana is getting an attraction in Epcot already. But Zootopia is thought to be considered as a replacement for Dinosaur, and that whole area also within Dinoland USA. Now, as much as I love dinosaurs, I think anyone who visits Animal Kingdom can agree that the majority of this area needs to be replaced. So should Disney bring Zootopia to Animal Kingdom, a zoological park? No, I don't believe they should. And Joe Rohde's statement about the animals being proxies for humans and human issues is the main reason why Zootopia does not fit in Animal Kingdom. But does Zootopia belong in Magic Kingdom or Epcot? No, those would be even less of a fit. Hollywood Studios could be a good fit since it's really just about immersing you into the movies, but I think Zootopia requires space, which is just not something available at Hollywood Studios currently, especially as it seems Disney has the animation courtyard area earmarked for something in the future as it continues to sit mostly abandoned. So in the end, Animal Kingdom, while not a perfect fit, does end up being what seems to be the only option. While I don't believe Zootopia belongs in Animal Kingdom, I want to trust Imagineers that will work on this possible project. These are some of the greatest creative minds, and if Disney allows them to work their magic, they could certainly adapt Zootopia in the proper way to fit Animal Kingdom. This is a very similar idea to Pandora, the world of Avatar, in that at first it was met with similar concern about how it fit into the park. But I'm going to refer back to Joe Rohde again here. Rohde stated that at first he did not believe that Avatar fit within Animal Kingdom until they figured out how it did. And now we see how Avatar basically saved Animal Kingdom, making it a destination park. And that takes me back to what I said previously. Whether or not an attraction fits within a park is more about the premise of the attraction itself rather than the intellectual property it's based off of. This does not mean that any property can be adapted to any park. There has to be some way that makes sense for the property and that park. For example, Toy Story, Cinderella, or The Hunchback would not be adaptable to Animal Kingdom, nor would Animal Kingdom be adaptable to those properties. However, if Imagineering can work with the Zootopia property to come up with some scenario or story for an attraction that better fits into the ideas and concepts of conservation, then we should have no concerns. They've already started laying the groundwork for this by referring to Shanghai's Zootopia land and attraction as a way for guests to see and learn about some species that they've never encountered before, some even being endangered. And even if they copy and paste what they've done in Shanghai, the rest of Animal Kingdom will still remain what it is today, and will have a new vibrant area of the park that deviates from the main idea of the park slightly. This is, however, my biggest concern with bringing Zootopia to the United States theme parks, at least in the same way it's being added in Shanghai. Zootopia was a big hit in China, and the topic of law enforcement is not as controversial as it is here in the States. So really opening an attraction about a police chase isn't the best idea, and it will be harder to sell that idea to the American audience. Ultimately, we can't expect the theme parks we know and love to remain exactly the same forever. Disney will continue to change and morph their theme parks as popularity of properties comes and goes, and as concepts remain relevant. We've already seen this with Disney removing one of their most iconic and popular attractions in Splash Mountain and changing it over to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. But at this point, I'm just rambling on here, and this coming weekend, we will see what Disney has to announce at the Destination D23 event being held at the Walt Disney World Resort. However, I don't believe we will hear much in regards to Zootopia at Animal Kingdom, like I think a lot of people are currently expecting. And I personally hope that Disney doesn't announce anything major like Moana's land in Animal Kingdom or Zootopia unless they are greenlit projects, ready to start construction right now. I do, however, expect that we will hear opening dates for Journey of Water, the Communicore Hall, and the Figment meet and greet at Epcot. I do also think that we will get a better opening time frame for Tiana's Bayou Adventure, as well as a possible Tiana's Palace restaurant re-theme of Pecos Bill Tall Tale Inn and Cafe. But overall, I am hopeful for the future of Disney parks. We seem to be within a bit of a dark spot at the moment, but there is light. As I've mentioned, I believe Epcot is improving for the better. Hollywood Studios has received a ton of love in the last 5 years. Magic Kingdom is going through its own changes and could possibly see another expansion in the future. And the Disney parks around the world are continuing to grow and flourish. I appreciate you all taking the time to listen to my thoughts. Even if we may not share the same opinions, let me know what you think about the possible changes to Animal Kingdom. Is a property like Zootopia okay being added to the park just because it's animal related? Whatever your thoughts, just be sure to keep them respectful. I hope you all have a good morning, afternoon, evening, night, whenever it is, wherever you are.